Mhm. Huh. Okay, we are live. Uh, Perfect. Perfect. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure we are live, but now we certainly are. Um, can you say that you can see me and hear me well, please, in the chat? I will be on the lookout. Yes, all good? Perfect. Very good. Okay. Hello. My name is Kate. I'm the head of user support and a meteorologist from Windy App, obviously. And I'm very happy to welcome you to our sixth webinar. Today, I will be telling you about dozens of pro features, and I will be announcing one new feature. I am thinking this will take about half an hour, and then there will be time for questions. At the end, you don't need to hold them in. You can write them in the chat, and my colleagues will collect them. And I will try to answer as much of them as possible at the end. So my first question to you is, when I said that there will be an announcement of a new pro feature, what came to your mind? What feature are you looking forward to? What's on your wish list? Can you please write in the chat? Because this feature could be next. Okay. I'm looking at my phone to see your replies. So what pro feature were you hoping for secretly? Like, I wish they do this. Uh-huh. Okay. If you're watching this in the recording, by the way, hello to you. You're very welcome to write the answer to my questions in the comments of this video. And also, there will be like the shortest version of this webinar with only the essentials in the description of this video. So only the descriptions of the pro features. Okay. Wow, lots of ideas. I keep them coming, and we'll definitely look over those and take them to our developers and designers. Now, about this webinar, who is this for? I was thinking this would be a great way to tell the pro users about the different features that they can use, because we see that not everybody has tried everything. So yeah, and also people who signed up for a trial and they have a week to understand if Windy App is something that can help them, Windy App Pro, in their outdoor life. And this might be the quickest way to understand if the pro version is a good fit for you. And of course, users of the basic version, of the free version, they might be interested to know what this pro thing is all about and to see what features are there, maybe try it. So the question to you is, what category do you belong to? Are you a pro user, or are you on a trial, or you have the free version? And please tell me in the chat. I want to get a sense of who is here today. And of course, please tell me, what kind of outdoor activity do you do? Do you sail? Do you paraglide? Do you dive? Do you surf? And so on. I am interested to know. Pro version. Okay, pro users. Okay, so I mostly see pro users. Good. Fly helicopters. Okay. That's great. Keep them coming. I'm always interested to know who is here. So for the next slides, I will have to minimize myself. Just a second. I'm gonna become a little circle on the screen so that you can focus on the presentation instead of me. Okay, good. I think I'm positioned just right, so we can continue. Let me start by saying that not everybody needs the pro version. I understand that, we understand that. So for many cases, the basic version, the basic forecast is just fine. But I wanted to summarize maybe the situations when the pro can help in this slide. And the first one is when you need some extra accuracy. For example, when you have expensive equipment like a drone and you do not want to get it wet, for example, or if you have a special occasion, or if you're taking your grandma for a hike, or you have your kids and the dog on the sailboat and you need some extra comfort. The pro version will help you, will give you that extra accuracy. Maybe it will help you understand the probability of different forecasts, and maybe highlight when you cannot, you should not trust the forecast. So the other situation is when you're going to a new or a tricky area, tricky as in tricky weather area, meaning I'm sure you all have these spots, these locations where forecasts often fail. I've heard that from users many times, that like this spot, it's just a nightmare, the forecast is always wrong or almost always wrong. And the pro can help a bit with the accuracy on those spots. At least you can maybe see the range of possible conditions. I just realized you don't see my hands. The range of possible conditions, for example, maximum wind and minimum wind, or the chance of precipitation. And the last case I highlighted is that we have some users that are weather enthusiasts. They enjoy looking at weather fronts and isobars. They like to monitor the weather. Maybe they have a weather station in their backyard. So they are going to enjoy the pro version. So the question to pro users who are listening to me right now, are those one of your cases? And if I missed a case, please let me know in the chat. For regatta. Yeah, so I would say extra accuracy. For the first situation, it's extra accuracy, but it's also extra detail, meaning that you have hourly forecasts and with very high spatial resolution. Okay, great. I will be saying a few more general things about the pro version, and then I will dive into the pro features. So please bear with me. Okay, so we have a ton of pro features, and I wanted to categorize them for you to easily remember and understand. So the basic of pro, the main part, is to bring you more accuracy and detail, and that would be true for all outdoor activities, meaning that it's equally important for sailing, for paragliding, and so on. So there is no specificity in terms of an outdoor activity that you do. And accuracy is something that everyone can benefit from. Then slightly less features are sport specific, meaning this is something that only sailors need, only fishermen need, and only a certain sport needs, and we have a bunch of those. and we add more of them. And the last bit that builds upon the first two on accuracy and specific activities is the customization. So this comes into play if you are doing an outdoor activity that is not widely done, and we don't have, for example, the profile for that. Or you need a special combination of weather parameters. And the Pro version lets you customize the app so you can see exactly what you need to see. One other thing about Pro, what I personally like about Windy app is that I will be describing today's features, but we are currently adding new features. We have a team of meteorologists that are continuously developing new approaches to weather forecasting, meaning that they specialize in weather forecasting for outdoor activities, and they're looking for ways to get a more accurate, more detailed or a forecast. Also, we have a friendly user support. I don't know if any of you have have contacted our user support. But yeah, we do get this feedback that, wow, we did not expect such user support. And we have meteorologists on staff because sometimes it can get overwhelming to read the forecast, to understand which model works better in your area, what other weather data there is to help you make a decision. And this is where our user support comes in. And we also make educational content. Not everybody does that. For example, this webinar on our Instagram page, we have reels about, I don't know, how you can forecast fog for yourself or stuff like that. So I encourage you to sign up, follow us, like, share, subscribe, you know, that sort of thing. And the last thing is that when you are a Pro user, you can use your Pro on up to 5 devices, like your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, all with the same account. And then there's also, you can also access some of the Pro features we have added on our web version. So that's handy too, that you don't need a separate you don't need to buy a separate subscription for a different device. So it would be strange if I didn't give you a promo code at this moment. So this one will give you Pro access for 7 days for free, and there will be no charges at the end. You just need to go to this page and type in the Try Pro promo code, and then choose the login and log in this way into the app. If you have any questions, the same instructions are in the description of this video, and you can always ask our user support. We'd be happy to help. If you are a Pro already, you can give this to your friends to try out. We'd love that. Okay, so temperature check. Everyone is here. The chat is active. I'm loving it. It's been a while since our last webinar, maybe 3 months. So I was afraid I'm getting rusty, but I think we're all good. And I'm really glad so many people came. So now we're going to dive into the features. And the first bunch of features would be about accuracy. And one thing I needed to tell you about accuracy, that if you have accurate data, unfortunately, it does not guarantee accurate results or accurate outcomes. Because in between data and the decision you make and the weather that is actually happening, there is this big gap, which I call the visualization and analysis. Because the way, even if the data is very accurate, like the data we have in the app is the as good as it gets, it doesn't get any more accurate than that. Still, the way you visualize it and the way you analyze it can really make a difference on what decisions you're going to make. For example, do you look at the forecast from one model, or do you look at the forecast from different models? Are you taking into account data from a weather station, and so on? So this is all very important. And we are, of course, we are working on the data bit to provide you the best data there is, but also we are working on visualization and analysis to make it easy for you to make the best decision. So I just wanted to say that unfortunately, even if for example, they say that GFS is 98% correct for the first 24 hours, that's true, but it is correct on average. And then when you look at the data, you have to analyze it and you have to make decisions. Okay, so that being said, I think we can move on to what we have in the app. I think what you have been waiting for all this time. So we have the free version, the basic version, and the pro version. And comparing to the free version, the pro version has more data. It has more forecasts. For example, two more global models, ECMWF and Icon 13. Could you please plus in the chat if you have heard of ECMWF and maybe heard that it's like the most accurate weather forecast in the world? Could you say, yes, I know, I have heard about ECMWF. I want to know if it just sounds like a gibberish or, yeah, okay. Okay, lots of people heard about it. Well, I'm glad. So that's the global model. And then we also have six regional models for France and the surrounding territory. So on the slide here, the asterisk means that it's not only France, but the surrounding territory. So for France and the other parts of Europe, it's a Rome. For the US, it's HRRR and NAM. For Canada and a part of US, it's HRDPS. And for Europe, Icon 7. And for Germany and the surrounding territory is Icon D2. We have 10 days of forecasts. Of course, that is for global models because the regional models are just less. They give 3-5 days of forecast. That's just how they run. And we have 10 days of past weather. I wouldn't say it's hugely popular feature, but it helps you see, for example, has there been a huge snowfall in the past 10 days? Or could it be that there were swell or currents and now the water is muddy, for example? So we know that some people need this past weather, or what we have also seen is sailors analyze the weather after they have been on a regatta, and they want to see what the forecast was and compare it to what they have seen. Okay, I think this is all I wanted to say here. Now, the new exciting feature is our experimental forecast for the coastline. Now, a common dream for many of our users is to have a long forecast, like 10-day forecast, global forecast, but also high resolution forecast. For example, 3 kilometers. And now it's possible. The special meteorology guys took GFS 27, the global model, and then they did some magic with AI and fed high resolution digital elevation model, which means it's very high resolution topography. They fed it into the AMI model, and then they put it over the GFS 27 model, and they made 10-day wind forecast for the global coastline. You can see Can you see my mouse? I don't know. So this is 200 kilometers inland and 200 kilometers into the sea and ocean. And this is only wind forecast, 10-day wind forecast with 3-kilometer resolution. And this is something that will be released in Windy, we are hoping, in a couple of weeks. And we would really love for all the pro users to try it. We will, of course, notify you when it's done. And we'd love your feedback and anything, your observations, how it is. Will it become your favorite weather model? That's the question. Okay, so this is all for about the forecasts. If you have any questions, as I said, maybe about this experimental forecast, you're very welcome to ask. I will do my best to answer. So this is all about the forecasts, but forecasts is not all the weather data we have. Sorry. We also have data from weather stations, or as it's also called live wind. And you can see it on the map, or you can find an exact weather station and see what the current wind is. But for pro users, we came up with something we call the live wind mode. It's the little bubbles, as you can see on my screen, that show the most recent wind observation, wind speed and direction observation, and that could be like 5 minutes ago or half an hour ago. So it's very recent, and we display them all on the map so you can see what is happening right now. I would say it's great for short-term planning, for planning like several hours from now. And with this mode, you can also see if the weather model you have chosen is forecasting it well at the moment. So if you see that this weather model is not doing great, you can switch to a different model and then use it for the rest of the day. Okay, that's what I wanted to say here. The opposite of live wind is the weather archive, you could say. This is something that we recommend using for long-term planning. For example, it's winter now, but you will have a vacation in summer, and you need to find the best place and time with great weather, right? You need to find somewhere with consistent winds, or you need to find somewhere with no wind at a particular time that you want to go. Or you have to make sure that it's not too rainy, so that while you are kite surfing, your family can still enjoy the attractions, for example. And this is what the weather archive is for. There's statistics, meaning average numbers of wind and precipitation and temperature, but also there is the detailed 3-hour forecast for the 10 years, where you can click on any day in the past 10 years and see the weather that has been happening. Okay, has anybody, did you know that we have a weather forecast? I'm curious. So let me know if you have had success or maybe not success with the weather archive. Okay, now this is all about the data that we have, something like that is on our servers. But when it comes to visualizing the data or analyzing the data, there are things that you can do to increase the accuracy, to have a better detail. And for these two features, you don't need to do anything. Just say, yes, I want the HD mode. Yes, I want the best model mode. It's already in your pro in your Pro account. So the HD mode, what does it do? It shows you the forecast in the best possible spatial resolution. So if you have HRRR or AROME, for example, if you have AROME that has the resolution of 1.25 kilometers, and you switch the HD mode, you get exactly the highest possible resolution of the forecast. If you have bad internet, you might want to switch it off, but otherwise I would keep it on for all of the time. You switch this on in the settings of the map. I will not go into details about how you can switch various features on, because otherwise this webinar is going to take forever. So if you don't find some feature, if you don't know how to switch it on, you can always ask our user support. You can write in the comments. You can contact us via Instagram. We'll be happy to help. Okay, so the best model mode is something that takes a bit of explaining because there's no one word for it. What you're looking at on my slide is compare mode. You see the weather, the wind forecast from different models, and you see a bold white line. This bold white line is the actual wind that was observed in a weather station on that spot. And you can see with your eyes that some weather models are closer to the bold white line than the others. So they are better at forecasting the wind on that spot. However, it is the 21st century, and it would be crazy to make you look at this graphic and try to guess the best model. So this is something we calculate on our servers. We take all models, we take wind observations, the actual wind, and then we compare them for the last 10 days and show you the best model on the spot for the last 10 days. So it does change over time. All you have to do is just choose the best model mode on your spot, and then you will get the forecast from that exact model. So this is the ways to increase the accuracy, to have a better forecast with just pushing a button. And there are other ways to improve your accuracy, and those are, they will take, you would have to do some analyzing. The first thing is you can look at the weather fronts, atmospheric fronts, and isobars on the map. We have global, isobars are just lines of atmospheric pressure. So they show you highs and lows, cyclones and anticyclones. And then we have weather fronts for North America and for Europe. And we have current weather fronts and up 5 days ahead. The fronts go into the future for 5 days. And what this helps you to do is to understand the general situation in the atmosphere. For example, is there a new cyclone forming? Is there a cold front coming to you? And this can help you really monitor the weather, understand the weather. And for example, if you're going offshore, but you have seen the forecast that this cyclone is coming, then you will be prepared. I will not go too deep into this because you have to learn something about weather fronts to understand this picture, but I will be creating more content and tips about how to read this map. Sorry. So the next thing you can do is you can compare wind and precipitation from different models on one chart. This is something we call the compare mode. You've already seen it on the previous slide, but now there is no white line. I just want you to focus on the lines on the wind speed forecast from different weather models. What do I see when I look at this picture? I see that all models are giving roughly the same forecast. And this means there's a very high chance that this is what is going to happen, that the wind is going to die down and then pick up again. Sometimes it's a completely different picture. It looks like a spaghetti, like this, when all the models are giving different forecasts. And this means usually that the forecast can go either way. So, for example, if you don't really care what the wind speed and direction would be, you can take your chances and go anyway. But if this is a high risk situation for you, then you might want to choose a different spot or maybe choose a different day. I have talked about compare mode on this YouTube channel before, so I will not go into deep to not take time. Now, a question to you. Compare mode. What outdoor sport do you think uses this chart the most in our app? Do you think it's maybe sailors or fishermen? Can you guess? And let me know in the chat. Paragliding. I know the answer because I've asked our analytics to tell me who uses the compare mode the most. Any other guesses? We have one right answer. I'm hoping that after this webinar, many more people from all of the different outdoor activities will start using the compare mode more. The answer is kiters. Yes, kite surfers are the one that use the most, but sailors also use it a lot. Okay. We finished with the accuracy part of our webinar. And there's not much left. I hope you're all awake and still with me. So we have two more parts of the presentation, but they are smaller than everything we've covered before. I think it's about 5 more minutes, and then we'll have time for your questions. So I wanted to show you features for specific activities, and you let me know if you use those features for different activities or if I've missed something. So the first batch of features is the swell map and the ocean current map. They are mainly used for everyone on the water, sailing and fishing on the boat, but also the swell map is used by surfers to see if a good swell is coming. And when you click on any point, you can see the exact value of swell height and direction, and then on the ocean current, this ocean current speed and direction. So for fishermen, I'm sorry, there is a error on the screen. It's for fishermen and fisherwomen, of course. The one thing we have added recently is the sea surface temperature map. It's a 10-day forecast, 10-day global forecast, and I'm not a fisherman myself, not a proper one at least. But what the users tell me is that they need to see the places with the gradients in sea surface temperature, meaning the places where it changes rapidly, and that helps them find the places where fish gather. We'd love your feedback on this feature, as always. The other thing that is helpful is the profile. So just to be clear, these are both, everything I'm saying in this section, it's all the pro features available in the pro version. So the fish profile, it has everything that we think the fishermen need, and we've had some good feedback on it. It's the bite forecast, it's the atmospheric pressure, the swell, the currents, and yeah, basically everything that a fisherman will need to plan for exact location. Another set of features is for wind lovers, people who need to find great wind. And the first one is the wind alerts, when you can set up for each spot that you're interested in. What wind speed do you need? What wind direction do you need? Because not all spots work in all wind directions. And then we will look for this kind of wind in the forecast, and as soon as we find it, we're going to send a push notification to you so you don't miss good wind. I've also heard that our users use this alert for keeping an eye on bad wind conditions. For example, if you have a boat in a marina, but you are like 2 hours drive away, you will set up an alert for that place and see if the bad wind is coming in, you can go and secure the boat, for example. Another thing that's in the Pro is the gust map. I wanted to show you an example. So there's the wind on the left and gust forecast on the right. And you can see that they align at some point, that it's windy and it's gusty, but there are some places that are not so windy, but you can still see the gusts. So I always recommend to check the gusts as well, especially gusts from different weather models, because this gives you a better sense of probability of gusts being larger than you would want them to be. Okay, a few more things for sailors and maybe for hikers or anyone who goes off the grid is the offline mode. So you enable it, and then Windy app will update and refresh the forecast that is downloaded to your phone. And then when you go offline, you will have access to the forecast. You will still be able to see it as though you're online on the map and for your favorite locations. Another thing for sailors, or maybe for some hardcore sailors, is the wind barbs. I personally prefer them to the little white lines that represent the wind, because with them you can clearly see the wind direction, and you can see, for example, that the wind is how it's changing directions near the coast, and the wind speed you can see quite clearly as well. So this is something, if you're used to this kind of thing, then the good news is this is available in the Pro version. Okay, the last bit before we turn to questions. Customization. We have two things here to cover. The first one is the custom profile. This means that you can create your own set of parameters in the order you need them to be, from choosing, and you can choose from all the weather parameters that we have and from all weather models. For example, here on the left slide, on the left part of the slide, there is wind speeds from different weather models, kind of like a compare chart, but in a form of a table. Then I've added sea temperature, tides, and UV index, but it could be anything you need in the order you need. For example, you can create several ones for different activities or for different spots, whatever you need. Another thing you can customize is the wind color palette. And this scary red map just shows you that all the areas where the wind is more than 8 knots. I just decided to pretend I want to stand up paddle, and I know that too much wind is bad for them for paddling. So I wanted to highlight the areas that are good for this outdoor activity, for stand-up paddling, and then with this kind of map, I don't have to look too much into it. I can clearly see where is my go-to area and no-go area. Okay, and this will apply all across the app. You will see it on your windy bars, on your main screen, and on the spot page. So, this is time for questions. I hope you're still with me. Let me climb out of this circle. Now I'm gonna see what questions I have. Ooh, we have a lot. Okay. So I see a lot of questions. I'll try to cover a few. About the best model. Is it an average of all, or is it the one matched best the forecast in recent past to observed reality? Yes, the second one is correct. It's not an average. It is the one model that is shows the best results in the last 10 days. Okay. Why are the forecasts different for the same location? Oh my God, that's a great question, and a huge one as well. Just to maybe give a quick answer. It's because the weather models that are giving those forecasts have different resolution. They have slightly different physics under the hood. They have slightly different input information that they work from, and they have slightly different, for example, digital elevation model. They have a different grid. That's why in complex situations, the weather forecast would be different. But if the situation in the atmosphere is straightforward, then the models will give approximately the same forecast. I hope I answered. So when you pinpoint a location on the weather map, how precise is the weather information for this location? Is the data reported specific for that location, or is it a wind range around the area? A wide range. Okay, so great question also. If you have a weather station, it looks like a wind turbine icon on the map, and you click on it and it shows you like 5 meters per second, and it says 5 minutes ago. So that would be the precise wind in that location. But when it comes to forecasts, we do have to interpolate because, for example, we have a model grid of, let's say 5 kilometers, but you would want to know what wind is in between the grids. You want a wind in at every point. So then we would take the 4 points closest to the point you're looking at, then we will interpolate. We will have some smart formula that will blend that will take the different values of wind speed, for example, in the grid points, and then you will get a weighted average of those values. So this is why spatial resolution is so important, because if you have a weather model that gives a forecast on a grid of 1.25 kilometers, it means you get very high detail and very high precision. You don't need to interpolate much. But if you have a weather model that has like 25 kilometers grid, then it's a different story. Okay. So the resolution for the new feature will be 3 kilometers. And of course, we're going to experiment more and see if we can do even better. But this is something we'll talk about later. Okay, I think this is all for today. I'm really glad you've been asking so many questions and commenting and answering my questions. I love it. And we are going to have more webinars soon. You're always welcome to suggest a topic. And I would love it if you have a friend, for example, who is like, I don't know, you like Windy App, I'm not sure about Windy App. If you send them the link to this webinar and just to show what we have, that would be great. Okay, so have a the rest of your day. And this is time for me to say thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like, share, you know, the drill. Okay. So, goodbye.